interaction. To ensure the smooth flow of the event, please minimize movement in and out of the hall once the event starts. As soon as our honorable guests and invitees are about to enter the hall, we kindly request everyone to stand, and your cooperation is greatly appreciated. I hope you guys enjoy the event. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, announcing the arrival of Professor Dr. Azlan Amran and Hansri Dr. Haji Omar Abdul Rahman, accompanied by our distinguished guests. And before we begin, I would like to invite everyone to rise as we honor our nation and our unity with the singing of the national anthem, Negara, followed by our esteemed university anthem, Menara Ilmu. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly be outstanding. Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. Next, for the safety and security of everyone present, we will watch a brief video on emergency exit procedures. This video will guide you on what to do and how to safely evacuate the venue in case of any emergency. Please pay close attention to these important instructions.
Selamat datang ke Dewan Persidangan Universiti Sains Malaysia. Sila berikan perhatian terhadap taklimat prosedur pengusian bangunan ini yang perlu dipatuhi sekiranya berlaku sebarang kecemasan semasa berada di dalam Dewan ini. Kiranya Anda mendengar amaran kecemasan, Anda dihendaki bertenang, duduk di tempat masing-masing dan tunggu arahan yang akan diberikan. Untuk makluman, terdapat dua pintu keluar di bahagian hadapan Dewan, yaitu di bahagian kanan dan kiri. Satu pintu keluar di bahagian sisi kanan Dewan, satu pintu keluar di bahagian sisi kiri Dewan. Dua pintu keluar di bahagian belakang Dewan. Sila ambil perhatian ke atas pintu-pintu berdekat Anda. Kiranya Anda diminta untuk mengusungkan Dewan, sila keluar dengan tenang dan beratur melalui pintu keluar yang dekat dengan Anda. Bagi Anda yang keluar melalui pintu di hadapan Dewan, sila keluar melalui pintu keluar bangunan yang terdapat di kiri dan kanan bangunan. Bagi Anda yang keluar melalui pintu sisi dan pintu belakang Dewan, sila keluar melalui pintu utama. Dengan segera ke tempat berkumpul, yaitu akan parkir bangunan pengkaderan pusat. Masa di tempat berkumpul, sila berbaris dan ikut arahan selanjutnya daripada pegawai yang bertugas. Ya, terima kasih atas perhatian.
Thank you for your attention. Professor Dr. Azlan Amran, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Industry and Community Network, University Science Malaysia, representing the Vice Chancellor, University Science Malaysia. Yang berbahagia, Professor Emeritus Tan Sri Dr. Omar Abdul Rahman, former Director in Public Listed Company. Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Bira, Muhammad Shafi'i, Director, Center for Global Sustainability Studies, University Science Malaysia. Associate Professor Dr. Jafari Malum, Coordinator, Regional Center of Expertise, Penang Center for Global Sustainability Studies, USM, and Project Director for Sustainability Talk 2.0. The Honorable Advisors of Advanced Dispute Resolution Center, Industrial Strategic Partners, Principal Officers of USM, Committee's members of Sustainability Talk 2.0, distinguished guests, students, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everyone. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to welcome all of you once again to the Sustainability Talk 2.0. We are honored to have all of you join us today for a stimulating discussion on sustainable development. Now, as we continue with our program, I would like to invite Ustaz Zaid bin Zari, the Deputy Director of the Islamic Center, to lead us in a recitation of dua to seek blessings for today's proceedings.
A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ya Allah, yang Maha Pengasih lagi Maha Penyayang, kami bersyukur atas segala nikmat dan kurnia-Mu dapat kami berkumpul pada hari ini dalam program Bicara Kelestarian 2024 membincangkan matlamat yang penting bagi negara dan umat jagat. Ya Allah, Ya Fattahu, Ya Alim, semoga Engkau memberi hidayat dan petunjuk pada kami dalam membahaskan isu-isu berkaitan SDG, Rukun Negara dan keharmonian di antara masyarakat. Kurniakan kami kebijaksanaan dalam merangka tindakan yang berkesan bagi mencapai matlamat global dan keutamaan nasional. Jadikan diskusi ini sebagai satu platform yang membawa kepada perpaduan, kesefahaman dan tindakan positif untuk kesejahteraan bersama. Semoga hasil dari program ini memberi manfaat kepada semua dan membawa kebaikan kepada alam dan masyarakat. Ya Allah, kami berserah segala usaha kepadamu. Rahmat dan berkatilah program ini serta semua yang terlibat. Allahumma ja'al jam'ana hadza jam'an marhuma wa tafarruqana min ba'dihi tafarruqan ma'suma. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azaban nar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Thank you, Ustaz Zaid bin Zari. Ladies and gentlemen, the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, are critical for everyone as they provide a universal framework to address global challenges such as poverty, inequality, climate change, and environmental degradation. For individuals, understanding and supporting SDGs empowers them to contribute to a more sustainable and equitable world, aligning personal and community actions with broader global needs. Higher learning institutions play a vital role in advancing SDGs by fostering innovation, conducting critical research, and educating future leaders. By integrating SDGs into curricular and campus operations, universities can now lead by example, shaping informed citizens who are equipped to tackle pressing global issues. To start the event, I would now like to invite Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Shafi'i, the Director of the Center for Global Sustainability Studies, FCGSS, to deliver the welcoming remarks. Everyone, please join me in welcoming him with a round of applause.
Thank you very much to the Master of Ceremony, Professor Dr. Azlan Amran, Deputy Vice Chancellor, University Industry and Community Network, University Science Malaysia, representing the Vice Chancellor, University Science Malaysia. Yang berbahagia Profesor Emeritus Tan Sri Dr. Omar Abdul Rahman, former Director in Public Listed Company, Associate Professor Dr. Jering Lalung, Coordinator, Regional Centre of Expertise, RCE Penang, University Science Malaysia, and Project Director for the Sustainability Talk 2.0, the Honourable Advisors of Advanced Dispute Resolution Centre Industrial Strategic Partners, Principal Officers of USM, Committee Members of Sustainability Talk 2.0, and distinguished guests, students, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera and very good morning to everyone present here today. Alhamdulillah, it is with my great pleasure to welcome everyone to our program today. It's always a very good opportunity to be able to meet and especially to listen to another perspective on the topic of sustainability. Meeting Tan Sri today, I was actually happy, and I am highly expectant of listening to a very unique sustainability talk which would actually encompass Rukun Negara. I told Tan Sri, never before I hear anything about Rukun Negara being linked with sustainability, SDG or ESG. For me, this is the first time that we are going to actually listen to such a thing. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a country with plenty of resources in all aspects of life. They are available all around us. Water, air, sunlight, the land, the people, of course, and also the economy. So when we talk about sustainability, it is about managing resources according to man's behavior. In other words, how the resources are used based on demands by people and by mankind. And at the same time, we have to remember that unchecked usage of resources would deplete them, and we in turn would be left with no alternatives. Thus, sustainability could also relate to the scarcity of resources and the required sacrifices by man, which are needed to ensure continued use of such resources. Our Rukun Negara is also about discipline. This is trying to link Rukun Negara to those sustainability elements in various aspects of our life as ruled out by the nation's forefathers. It has outlined the need for everyone to live, work, play, and celebrate each other. By doing things together, hand in hand, it could assist in the efforts for growth and nation building. The outstanding speaker we have today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to listen to him to know the part of the nation building process with numerous achievements under his belt. To name a few, he was actually the first individual that had been appointed as the science advisor to the then Prime Minister. He was also the founding president. He is a current senior fellow of the Academy of Sciences Malaysia, ASM. He was the past president of the Science Council of Asia and a former member of UNESCO Committee on Ethics of Science and Technology. Currently, he is a member of the External Advisory Council of Mahsa University, a member of the Council of UCSI University. The Tan Sri Omar Center for SDI, Science, Technology and Innovation Policy Studies, of which he is the advisor, was established by UCSI University back in 2021. Tan Sri is the chairman of the Organizing Committee of Dialogue Rakyat for National Cohesion and Unity, which champions the Harmoni-Mesra concept. One of the titles of his presentation today, Principles and Practices Promoting and Fostering a Harmonious, Prosperous, Progressive and Sustainable Malaysia. The Harmoni-Mesra campus program at UCSI University, an actionable practice of Harmoni-Mesra, was initiated in 2022. Delivering his talk today on SDG, Rukun Negara, Harmoni-Mesra, Global Goals, National Priorities, Institutional Actions, I would like to welcome Tan Sri. We are highly expectant of listening to what you want to convey and want to share with us, Tan Sri. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you.
Thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Wira, for such an insightful remarks. Next, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Azlan Amran, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Industry and Community Network, representing the Vice Chancellor of USM, to officiate today's event. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome him to the stage with a big round of applause.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang berbahagia Profesor Emeritus Tan Sri Dr. Omar Abdul Rahman, former Director of Public Listed Company. Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Wira Muhammad Syafiee, Director CGSS USM. Associate Professor Dr. Japaring Lalung, Coordinator RCE Penang, CGSS USM, and also the Project Director for Sustainability Talk 2.0. The Honorable Advisors of Advanced Dispute Resolution Center, Industrial Strategic Partners, Principal Officers of USM, committees, members of Sustainability Talk 2.0, distinguished guests, students, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera and very good morning to everyone present here today. Allow me to begin by conveying warm regards from USM Vice Chancellor Yang Berbahagia Professor Datuk Seri IR Dr. Abdul Rahman Muhammad. He could not be here with us today due to prior official engagements. Ladies and gentlemen, University Science Malaysia is synonymous with sustainability. Our involvement in projects and collaborations by departments and with government agencies, innovations, and achievement in competitions, and as well as being able to set new standards in rankings and various benchmarking exercises serve as a testimony to our commitment to sustainability. Then again, sustainability is dynamic. It is dynamic in both ideas and practice. As we look closer to the three core aspects of sustainability, which are the people, planet, and profits, there are many perspectives that can be further explored. USM is also actively exploring various avenues, be there in academics, research, working with industries, and those involving communities. One example would be the solar panels we are using throughout the campus to harness the energy from the sun. The USM tagline, Transforming Higher Education for Sustainable Tomorrow, could possibly relate to not just tomorrow, the day after today. It could also refer to the not too distant future. This is where education, as well as areas in research and innovation, can contribute and define what sustainable tomorrow means for the coming generation. Ladies and gentlemen, USM is elated to welcome our guest speaker, Professor Emeritus Tan Sri Dr. Omar Abdul Rahman, to our campus today to talk on another aspect of sustainability. He has been an integral part of the nation in framing certain aspects of education and bringing sustainability to the fore. His viewpoints and insights and multiple honorary degrees under his belt from various higher learning institutions, all these could surely be considered to shape our local outlook, and which can further determine the steps to be taken by all to ensure that we will live together sustainably and in harmony. Thank you to RCE, CGSS for organizing this talk. There's always room for scholarly discourse, more so when it relates to the ideas and opinions regarding sustainability. Thank you again to Tan Sri for coming here, and I wish everyone here a most beneficial event to all. Sekian, wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Azlan, for appreciating and your inspiring words. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to introduce our distinguished speaker for today. I myself is very in awe while I read through all the biography of our very distinguished speaker today, of how this person has changed and made so much changes and blessings to our country. A true pioneer and national icon, Tan Sri Dr. Haji Omar bin Abdul Rahman. Tan Sri Omar is a highly respected Malaysian born on November 9, 1932. Tan Sri Omar is a graduate in veterinary science from the University of Sydney and also holds a PhD from the prestigious University of Cambridge. Over the years, his academic excellence has been recognized through several honorary degrees from esteemed institutions, including Honorary Doctor of Veterinary Science from the University of Melbourne, Honorary Doctor of Laws from the University of Guelph, and the University of Bristol, Honorary Doctor of Science from Queensland, UTM, UKM, and UPM. In addition to his academic achievements, Tan Sri Omar has been recognized with prestigious awards for his contributions to science and society, including the ASEAN Achievement Award in Science in 1993, the Tun Abdul Razak Award International category in 2000, and Malaysia's highest honor for academic excellence, the Tokoh Academic Negara in 2010. His career began in 1960 as a research officer at a veterinary research institute in Ipoh, and in 1972, he became the founding dean of the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine and Animal Sciences at what is now known as the University Putra Malaysia, UPM. He also served as Deputy Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs, guiding the university during its crucial early years. Today, he is honored as Professor Emeritus of the university. In 1984, Tan Sri Omar was appointed the first science advisor to the Prime Minister of Malaysia then, Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. In this groundbreaking role, he was instrumental in shaping the country's science, technology, and innovation policies. He founded several major institutions, including Technology Park Malaysia, Malaysia Industry Government Group for High Technology, MIGHP, Composite Technology Research Malaysia, CTRM, Malaysian Technology Development Cooperation, MPDC. Beyond our borders, Tan Sri Omar has also made a significant mark globally. He is the founding chairman of the Commonwealth Partnership for Technology Management, CPTM, a fellow of the World Academy of Sciences, TWAS, and an honorary fellow of the Academy of Sciences of Kyrgyzstan. He has also been a key member of several international bodies, including UNESCO, the OSCE, and the United Nations Advisory Committee on Science and Technology. Ladies and gentlemen, Tan Sri Omar's dedication to Malaysia continues today as he serves as a senior fellow of the Academy of Science Malaysia, and is an active member of UCSI University External Advisory Council. In 2021, UCSI University established the Tan Sri Omar Center for Science, Technology, and Innovation Policy Studies in his honor. He also chairs the Dialogue Rakyat Initiative, promoting national cohesion and unity through the Harmoni-Mesra concept, which fosters a harmonious, prosperous, progressive, and sustainable Malaysia. Tan Sri Omar is also a celebrated author. His works include the notable book, The Essentials of Science, Technology, and Innovation Policy, and his biography, From Science to Science Policy, One Man's Journey, co-authored with Dr. YBhg. Lastly, Tan Sri Omar's leadership extends through the corporate world, where he has served as non-executive chairman and director of various public listed companies, including Contra Industries Berhad and Corp Berhad, Green Packet Berhad, and OSK Ventures International Berhad. Ladies and gentlemen, I know everyone is excited for this coming session. Let us stand and join me in welcoming the remarkable Tan Sri Dr. Haji Omar bin Abdul Rahman, a visionary leader whose contribution in Malaysia and beyond.
Macam mana ni? Pakai ni. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dan salam Harmoni-Mesra kepada kepada Profesor Dr. Azlan Amran, Divisi Industri dan Masyarakat USM, Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Wira Muhammad Syafi'i, Director GCSS, and my friend Associate Professor Japaran, Coordinator Regional Center of Expertise Penang, dan seluruh keluarga USM serta hadirin yang saya hormati sekalian. It's a great honor for me to be here this morning to make a contribution to the program organized by GCSS on sustainability, which is a global concern, global goals as it were. My presentation will link global goals to national priorities, which are implemented through action at the institutional levels. And I will concentrate on one example of a university institutional action on one particular aspect of both global and national importance. And I've been given this from GCSC. Of course, you know about the purpose of GCSC. And I'm especially this morning untuk meneroka konsep Harmoni-Mesra dan aplikasinya dalam mempromosikan keharmonian sosial dan kehidupan yang lestari. Point number 3. Okay, since we are talking about global goals, let us be reminded about global goals and the concern about the impact of development, human activities after the Industrial Revolution on environment led to a number of global goals. I think you are all familiar with this. I'm just to remind you, the first one was the Brundtland Report of 1987, Our Common Future, that was called. And then there was the Millennium Development Goals, MDG, covering the years 2000 to 2015, with 8 goals and 18 targets. And now we have the SDG, the Sustainable Development Goals, 2016 to 2030. There are 17 goals and 169 targets. I think you are familiar with all that. And then the SDG, let us be reminded, the so-called UN Agenda 2030, Transforming Our World. It's supposed to be a blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for everyone. It is an extraordinary, urgent, and optimistic plan for a new generation, covering the three dimensions of sustainable development, the economic, the social, and the environment, the SDG, which everyone is talking about now. The SDGs are also called universal, applying to the entire world, developed and developing, and for all nations and peoples, and for all segments of society, so that no one will be left behind. This no one will be left behind is a very big goal to be achieved. Now, just to summarize the 17 goals of the SDG, it is about resolving the unmet needs of the bottom of the pyramid, goals 1, 2, 3, and 6, ensuring equitable sharing of the fruits of development, the socio-economic transformation. This covers the goal of 5, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 14, and 15. And then ensuring a sustainable future, environment compatible with Development Goal 13, peace and justice, national unity, and social harmony, a prerequisite, Goal 16. And later on, I'm going to spend a bit more time on Goal 16. And then lastly, global partnership in the delivery of the SDGs. Goal 17, requiring that everybody, every nation contribute. Now the global partnership and cooperation are emphasized in both the Millennium Development Goal, Goal 18 of MDG, and Goal 17 of SDG. And the latter call for cooperation to develop, to share, and to apply technologies and social organization. Now, the increase from the 8 goals and the 18 targets of the MDG to the 17 goals of 169 targets of the SDG would indicate serious shortfalls stemming from the lack of what I call ACCA, awareness of the issues, understanding or comprehension, then commitment and action on sustainability and sustainable practices. And this is one major reason for poor global cooperation. Not everybody understood or aware what the requirements were. Now in Malaysia, fortunately, ACCA, awareness, comprehension, commitment and action has improved quite substantially in the corporate sector. There's so many things being talked about. You see that in the newspapers every day, what is happening in the private sector on the ESG, the economic, the social, and the governance program. Some people are very critical about this, not thinking whether these are just for the optics and it's only just greenwashing. But let's hope that something are actually happening. Now at the national level, it would not be possible for Malaysia and other developing countries to meaningfully collaborate in addressing the 17 goals and 169 targets of the SDG unless it is also national priorities. It is just a question of the ability to do what you want and to do what you can do. the balance between the desirable and the doable. Now, about you cannot do the global, you cannot achieve global goal, you cannot contribute to global goal, as I said earlier, unless it is national priorities. And national priorities are guided by national aspiration. So let us look at what the situation is in Malaysia as far as national priorities and national aspirations are concerned. Now, national priorities in Malaysia are determined by national aspiration, as I said, and the first national aspiration in our country was articulated by the Rukun Negara. And then this is followed by a number of political slogans by the government of the day. So Rukun Negara was 1970. And then we have Vision 2020 that was announced in 1991. After that, there was One Malaysia concept that was April 2009. And then there was Transformation Nasional, the TN50, Make the Future. This was January 2017. Shared Prosperity was May 2019. Then we had Keluarga Malaysia. And now we have Madani, Malaysia Madani. This was announced in January last year. Now let's look at Rukun Negara 1970. We all know about the 5 principles. Even on the way, I can see still on the billboard about belief in God, loyalty to king and country, supremacy of the constitution, rule of law, ethical behavior and morality. Kat sekolah kita recite that, kat buku sains, exercise book pun ada semua tu. Kita tahu tu semua tu. But we do not even know there are 5 objectives of the Rukun Negara which are very, very important. And that one, achieving a greater unity of our people, maintaining a democratic way of life, creating a just society with equitable sharing of prosperity, ensuring a liberal approach to the country's rich and diverse cultural tradition, building a progressive society by harnessing modern science and technology. We have to be up to date all the time. We forget about that. When I talk about this, people say, ada objektif ke? Kita don't ingat principle saja. Even the principle, number 5 tu, we don't understand. Ethical behavior and morality. Itu hanya untuk kita sendiri saja, intrapersonal action atau interpersonal action. The way we should behave toward each other, towards different groups of people in Malaysia. That one pun kita tak berapa faham. Okay. Then we have Vision 2020. There are 9 challenges of Vision 2020. I will not go through all this, just to mention that there are 9 challenges to achieve Vision 2020 of Dr. Mahathir. And then there is One Malaysia concept, emphasizing ethnic harmony, national unity, efficient government. They talk about people first, performance now. This was the one after Vision 2020. And then we have Transformation National, TN50, Make the Future, so-called. After that, we have Shared Prosperity, Vision 2030. And there are 7 sort of trust areas over there. Then we have Keluarga Malaysia, inclusivity, common ground, and contentment. Ini 2021. And then now we have Madani, Malaysia Madani. In English, it's supposed to be sustainability, prosperity, innovation, respect, trust, and compassion. And then you can see from apa tu? From what can it? Not quite visible, but it's quite a composition to make it into Madani. Kemampanan, kesejahteraan, daya cipta, hormat, keyakinan, ihsan. Dan semua tu dikumpul jadi Madani. So national aspiration kita, aspirasi nasional Malaysia is actually a conundrum. It's complicated and it is very, very confusing. So daripada all the national aspiration which I went through just now, itu actually confusing, mengelirukan. It's like we are changing the goalposts every time we have a new government. Every new government of the day must have its own national aspiration, which can be very confusing. So ini mengelirukan, and it calls for simplification. So I thought, if we take the pepatah Melayu, kalau keliru di hujung jalan, balik ke pangkal jalan. And the pangkal jalan is Rukun Negara, which goes back to 1970. Okay, Rukun Negara saya kata tadi, kita lupa, kita tak tahu pun ada objektif Rukun Negara. Okay, the 5 objectives of Rukun Negara, to me, is a clear national aspiration which can be simplified into 4 things. Kita hendakkan a harmonious, progressive, prosperous, progressive and sustainable Malaysia. Yang yang political slogan tadi pun, if you look at it closely, tak lain dan tak bukan daripada HPPS. Harmonious, prosperous, progressive and sustainable Malaysia. And then you might ask, kenapa you include sustainable? Pasal the concept of sustainability did not come until 1987 from the Brundtland Report, whereas Rukun Negara 1970. But don't forget, objective Rukun Negara number 5, building a progressive society by harnessing modern science and technology. So Rukun Negara is very forward-looking. It keeps us to be on the move all the time. And sustainability and sustainable technologies is one of the current science and technology. So I'm justified in saying that our national aspiration, which should be the basis of our national priorities, should be HPPS, harmonious, prosperous, progressive, and sustainable. Okay, so I'm advocating what I call a consistency paradigm of embracing HPPS as the core components of our national priorities based on the national aspiration explicit in the objectives of Rukun Negara. Regardless what the government of the day comes up with a political slogan. And then if we say national aspiration is HPPS, SDG is actual HPPS at the global level. SDG is nothing more than an aspiration for a harmonious, prosperous, progressive, and sustainable globe. So this is where global goal meets national priorities. And this is where the common ground for countries to act. Okay. Now, if we accept HPPS as the basis of our national priorities, then it is very, very clear that the harmonious pillar is crucial to the maintenance and enhancement of the other three. Without being harmonious, forget about being prosperous, progressive, or sustainable. And the SDG Goal 16, I mentioned earlier, is peace and justice underscores the need for sustained harmony. So HPPS at the national level, HPPS at the global level depends on the harmonious pillar. Without that, there is trouble. Without the harmonious pillar, there are the 5 dreadful deaths, the 5 dreadful Ds: disruption, displacement, destruction, disfigurement, and death. And we see that is happening in many parts of the world today. This is happening in the genocide in Gaza. This is happening in the war between Russia and Ukraine. And one wonder whether what is happening there nullifies or cancel out effort elsewhere to try to maintain sustainability. Now, let us look more closely at the harmonious pillar of HPPS. And we say HPPS is what Rukun Negara was all about. For Malaysia to be a harmonious, prosperous, progressive, and sustainable country. And that was 54 years ago. And 54 years after the launch of Rukun Negara, with the explicit message of HPPS, social harmony cannot be taken for granted in our country. In Malaysia, there are continuous threats to social harmony from recurring racism, ethnic nationalism, in other words, rather than civic nationalism for everybody, for all Malaysian, but for specific groups. Toxic rhetorics all the time, touching on the 3 Rs. Hateful tweets, interfaith intolerance, erosion of civility and empathy, and then we abandon our acclaimed commitment to moderation. And during part last time was about wasatiyah. So until today, 54 years after Rukun Negara, which is the blueprint for our national unity and social harmony, we cannot take social harmony for granted. And then let's look more closely at what are the requirements for sustained social harmony. There are 3 requirements. Number 1, of course, satisfying the basic needs of the citizens. Number 2, continuing improvement of the quality of life of the citizens. And thirdly, the social, cultural, and religious values and practices of the citizen. Ya, yang kita kata tadi, berkenaan dengan yang Rukun Negara kata ethical behavior and morality tadi. The way we behave among ourselves and towards others. That is the SCR. So there are three basic needs: improving quality of life, and the values and practices our tata Okay, so let's look at the component of sustained social harmony. As for basic needs, we talk about number one, sustained harmony requires that the citizens' basic needs are met. As for basic need, the UNDP Human Development Index, which captures 3 dimensions of human development: long and healthy life, being knowledgeable, and a decent standard of living. These are the 3 components that makes UNDP's Human Development Index give Malaysia a score of 0.803 for the years 21-22, putting Malaysia in a very high human development category. Therefore, it can be argued or it can be concluded that basic needs are not a pressing issue in Malaysia today. People may not agree, but that's what UNDP Human Development Index give us. And the Unity Government Madani Economy Framework is a policy for improving basic needs and quality of life. So it appears that basic need, quality of life is being looked at. What is not receiving enough attention is the social, cultural, and the religious values and practices. This is what is causing the persistent threat to our social harmony. Now, this is the reason why in 2019, I managed to get together a number of representatives from civil society organizations to come together to establish what we call Dialogue Rakyat for National Cohesion and Unity, to say, what can we do about improving social harmony in the country? We cannot just keep blaming people. We cannot just keep blaming politicians for being racist, for coming up with toxic rhetoric. But we can sit together to say, what can we do as individuals and as group of individuals to counter that? So the first Dialogue Rakyat was convened in December 2016 with the following objectives: to promote cohesion and unity, rejecting elements of disharmony and divisiveness; to establish a unifying principles and formulate a code of ethical conduct based on the ethos and practice of smart partnership. I do not know whether for many years we had the Langkawi National Dialogue promoting smart partnership. And smart partnership is anchored in respect, trust, transparency, tolerance, and accommodation. How we behave towards one another. Malaysia. Respect, trust, transparency, tolerance, and accommodation. And then to develop actionable practices for different communities, and to initiate a citizen movement for national cohesion, unity, and social harmony. That was the objectives of Dialogue Rakyat when we put that together. Now, who were the organizers of Dialogue Rakyat? We managed to to bring together representatives from PICOR, PAGE, Mines, National Reading School, G25, INSAF, Yayasan Perpaduan Malaysia, and CWO. At that time, ASLI was providing the secretarial support, and that task now is taken over by KSI, Strategic Institute for Asia Pacific. Now, between 2016 and 2019, we managed to hold 9 dialogue riots, and this involved concerned citizen, concerned individual. We involve schools and university communities, and even neighborhood communities. And we developed the Dialogue Rakyat Code of Ethical Conduct, and we came up with the idea or the concept of Harmoni-Mesra, principle and practices of Harmoni-Mesra. And then promoting Harmoni-Mesra Malaysian communities and nurturing Harmoni-Mesra generation for Malaysia become the strategic mission for Dialogue Rakyat. So this was way back in 2016, but all the way to 2019, and we stopped having dialogue because of COVID-19. And we have not been able to reconvene after that, but we do have 2 products that we are promoting now, the Code of Ethical Conduct and the Harmoni-Mesra concept. And I want to spend a bit of time on these 2. Now, first of all, what is Harmoni-Mesra? And there are 4 components of Harmoni-Mesra. Number 1, we say we have no problem in Malaysia. We meet together all the time. We come together and support our national team in sports of certain kind. We come together during celebration for Hari Raya ke, Deepavali ke. So especially Merdeka, we come together and sama-sama. But those are only harmony moments. Short-term social activity for a specific project, then we go home and we forget about everything else. So those are harmony moments. So the first part of Harmoni-Mesra is to recognize the importance and the need to increase harmony moments. These being social activities that bring members of the communities together to interact, to socialize, to break down barriers, to exchange experiences, to strengthen friendship, and to rekindle the spirit of muhibbah and neighborliness. That's the first part. Now, the second part, we have to build upon harmony moments, which harmony moments are just social activities. We have to build on the social activities of harmony moment with rational element, with something rational that why we have to continue to be good towards one another. And the rational element through formal, informal, and non-formal programs at university level, at school level, meetings and discussion and other means to promote the understanding and appreciation of our national heritage, our national political heritage, our cultures, our values, our national aspiration, and to address the issues of cultural ignorance with cultural arrogance. There's a very dangerous thing to have a cultural ignorance and yet to be cultural arrogance, and to interfaith intolerance, and other kind of prejudices. And then, if possible, to bring the emotional element. So we have the social, we have the rational, we need the third one, the emotional element. That is the attachment to, so that we are very emotional about protecting social harmony in our country. We do have a song for Harmoni-Mesra, which we call Harmoni-Mesra Saling Hormati. That's one example of an emotional component. So we need to develop more emotional element. And then to embrace the Dialogue Rakyat Code of Ethical Conduct, which is the basis for our Tata Peradaban for Harmoni-Mesra, which is the guideline for our Budi Pekerti, Budi Bahasa, and Budi Bicara among ourselves and between ourselves and everybody else. Now, if we can strengthen the social, the rational, and the elements and the emotional elements, and we adhere to the Dialogue Rakyat Code of Ethical Conduct, we will be able to establish stronger bonding, spirit of goodwill, empathy, and kindness among the citizens of Malaysia, and to contribute to the sustained and enduring national cohesion, unity, and social harmony as demanded by the objective of Rukun Negara, which is also the aspiration of Malaysia Madani. So Harmoni-Mesra actually is supporting the aspiration of Malaysia Madani. Now, we already put together the idea of global goal must coincide with national priorities. And national priorities is supported by or guided by national aspiration, which is SPPS. Now, the next part of my thesis is, of course, institutional action. And I want now to spend time on institutional action at the university level, focusing on the most important part of HPPS, which is the harmonious part, the harmonious pillar. So this one, we have developed what we call the Harmoni-Mesra campus program. Because we say the Harmoni-Mesra concept, principle, and practices do not achieve the objective of nurturing a Harmoni-Mesra generation for Malaysia unless they are translated into actionable practice. And one actionable practice is the Harmoni-Mesra campus program, focusing on the harmonious pillar of HPPS. And in October 2022, UCSI University, in collaboration with Dialogue Rakyat and PICO, formally launched the Harmoni-Mesra campus program. And that's when Prof. Jeb came at the same time that we launched the Harmoni-Mesra campus program at UCSI University. And I have been wanting since then to come and talk to USM about this particular program. Okay. Institutional action, Harmoni-Mesra campus program. And these are, the program has the following two components. One is, of course, to accept the principle and practices of Harmoni-Mesra, which we mentioned earlier, the four components of it. And then the implementation of the Harmoni-Mesra operational framework, that is to integrate the principle and practices into the function of the university. And my idea of the function of university, which may be different at USM, of course, it is first of all governance and administration, teaching and research, community and industry outreach, advocacy and advice. The university has a role to advocate for certain things and to advise about certain things. And then national and international collaboration, and of course, student extracurricular activities. And the objective of the Harmoni-Mesra campus program is to promote the concept and the principles and to continue to develop the practices of Harmoni-Mesra among the university academic, administrative and general staff and the neighborhood communities, the communities around the university. And of course, to nurture Harmoni-Mesra generation for Malaysia, that is to our students. Okay. Now the Harmoni-Mesra program is implemented at UCSI University as a major activity of the University Secretariat Rukun Negara, complementing and enhancing the program of the SDG Secretariat, the RCE Greater Kuala Lumpur, and the Student Affairs and Alumni Division. A promotional book, Harmoni-Mesra Campus Program for Malaysia, has also been established, and I have copies of that book here to be presented to DVC and to the director, JCSS. Now, this is a quote from our UCSI University founder and executive chairman supporting the Harmoni-Mesra campus program. I have also a quote from our VC, Professor Dr. Siti Hamisa, on the Harmoni-Mesra campus program. Now, UCSI is looking forward to collaborating with Malaysian university communities to establish a network of Harmoni-Mesra campuses in Malaysia, promoting Harmoni-Mesra Malaysian communities and nurturing Harmoni-Mesra generations, fulfilling our collective civic responsibility towards sustained harmony and kesejahteraan negara, and then meeting the objectives and the aspiration of Rukun Negara and of course of Malaysia Madani. Now the university campus program is only one example of an actionable practice for Harmoni-Mesra. Other institutions, including local and international companies, can initiate their own Harmoni-Mesra actionable practices with the flexibility of applying their own contextual intelligence to the practices of Harmoni-Mesra. Finally, the conclusion: delivering the 17 goals and 169 targets of the SDG requires a global effort. And this global effort will not be meaningful unless global goals meet national priorities. And we have argued here that the global goals, the national priorities for Malaysia is HPPS based on the Rukun Negara. And if HPPS is harmonious, prosperous, and progressive a sustainable national level, Malaysia, then SDG is a HPPS at the global level. That's where national global goal meet national priorities. And then even the current Malaysia Madani is an expression of HPPS, which is heavy on the harmonious component. Actually, the Madani is very, very strong on the harmonious component of HPPS because care, compassion, respect, and trust, which is core of Madani, both are the requirement for and the outcome of harmonious. And while Rukun, we've said that before, okay, Rukun Negara, HPPS nation, SDG is SPPS globe. And the Harmoni-Mesra campus program is an example of institutional action at university level, focusing on one important pillar of both global as well as national SPPS. Then I'm saying that other version of actionable practice of Harmoni-Mesra can be initiated by other institutions. I'm looking at Torre. Maybe Torre wants to initiate a Harmoni-Mesra Torre program using Torre's experience. Now, finally, I would like to propose that USM to adopt and take up the Harmoni-Mesra campus program. To that, together with UCSI University as a joint IPTS initiative to work towards promoting the establishment of Harmoni-Mesra campus network among the university communities in Malaysia. Doing our work to meet our civil responsibility, contributing to the demand of Rukun Negara and the aspiration of Madani, Malaysia Madani. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much. Thanks to Omar for such an enlightening, and I would say it's very thought-provoking, address that I think even ChatGPT cannot express how grateful I am of such benefiting framework that has been shared. So now, ladies and gentlemen, it is a very, it's a great honor to all of us, as now we begin the Q&A session. Participants, if you have any questions, please raise your hand and our moderator will tend to you. The session will now be moderated by our Associate Professor, Dr. Johari Malum, and let's begin the Q&A session.
Thank you very much. Testing boleh dengar? Does it work? Boleh dengar? Tak, okay. Oh, macam ni. Okay.
Okay, well, looking forward, right? Just to inform you all, if you want to ask a question, you can actually press the button, there's speaker button, and then it will then right, and it's speak. Alright, I think this is a very good opportunity for us to for you all to actually ask questions, because country is a very big figure in the country. I do not feel academic science in Malaysia. It's actually the founding director is the first director of academic science in Malaysia, and I mean, he's also was the tokoh academic Negara in 2010. So children, I mean, this is a golden opportunity for you to be able to basically ask some questions if you have any questions. And maybe for people who are not from UFM, maybe I can briefly introduce about the Center for Global Sustainability Studies in University Science Malaysia. So it's actually a center because University Science Malaysia really emphasizes on sustainability. So the sustainability agenda of the university is actually very huge. And every now and then we organize sustainability talk where we actually invite like people, leaders in the country to deliver a speech. And the university itself is very concerned about sustainability. You can see the roof. If you have not been exploring USM yet, you can actually go and see the roof are actually being covered by solar panel. And so basically, we are trying to be as sustainable as possible. Some roofs are not covered by solar panel, but that's because the roof is actually because we are maintaining all buildings, and also so some of them cannot support the weight of the panel. That's why it's not there. Otherwise, all the new buildings are the roof are already covered by solar panels. And we're very happy today. We also have delegates from Indonesia. Yeah, Kuala, thank you so much for coming. I think we have first Tory Foundation also, thank you so much for coming. And tepuk tangan lah. And I think we have from Penang Preschool. Do you have Penang Preschool? Okay, thank you so much. SMK Penanti also, I think. Thank you so much, Cikgu pun ada ya. Alright, thank you so much. And we have Samio Rasam. I think we have kawan. Okay, kawan belakangnya, thank you so much. And we have Caps Penang. Ada ya? Okay, thank you so much for coming. And we have from KPT as well, I think. Okay. And also from RCE Sejahtera Youth, RSY Indonesia. Okay. Okay, so if you can see our picture just now, that was taken 2 years ago, we went to UCSI.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Okay, I think we begin again, yeah. So, Tanfri, thank you so much for the very inspiring talk. Although I've heard about this concept before, again, when I listen to it, inspiring again. So, now I think it's the session for question and answers. So, if any of you have any questions, I think this is going to be a golden opportunity for you to ask Tanfri himself directly about the concept of Harmoni-Mesra or about the talk today. Can I ask if anybody has any questions? Okay, Dr. Ashira, thank you so much, Dr. Ashira.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Tanfri, and this is actually my second time to listen to this. I think we visited the CSI and I had the opportunity to listen to just what the Jafari said. And listening again.
Oh, you was there at the time?
Yes.
Yeah. So, but it's something I've been listening to the importance of Rukun Negara, something that I think need to be reminded to all. And hanya ingat semasa sekolah kan, dia ada di buku dan dibaca setiap minggu perhimpunan. Jadi, my question of the just ask for your comments. The concept of Harmoni-Mesra, we should have it as programs, as we say. So how can we also encourage the university, especially the academics and also the staff in university and students as well, to partner with civil society or the communities outside? Because we don't want to do that only within our campus community. I'm sure there's also, maybe you can share some program example that you have done, or how we can actually do this. Thank you. To promote, of course, the and the concept of HPP and
Thank you for that. So, as I said, the Harmoni-Mesra campus program, one is not just for the university communities, or rather, it's for the whole university communities. It's for staff as well as students, but must include the neighborhood communities as well. So that is part of the campus program. And at UCSI University, the practice has been that the SDG program, that time the coordinator has always involved the trust community people as well. So that is already part of the practice of the university. So I thought when I mentioned about the Tugas University include advocacy and advice, that who's the target for your advocacy and advice. It should be people around. It should be the authority, the government, even if you have something that which universities are doing anyway. So that is part of the concept, and I'm sure USM has got a advocacy and advice program that involves the community around the neighborhood communities around USM. So that shouldn't be a problem usually.
It's very true. Actually, USM has been doing a lot of community work. In fact, Azlan is the Deputy Vice Chancellor for Bahagian Jaringan Industri dan Masyarakat Studies Community. So we do a lot of community work. In fact, tomorrow we're going to go with RC and we're going to go to Muda to plant mangrove with the community. So thank you very much, Dr. Ashida, for the questions. Can we ask for another question? If anybody has any question. Actually, I have a long list of questions, but I think it's only fair to give you all the opportunity to ask the question first. Anyone? Okay. We have from Syiakuala, Dr. Rahman.
Thank you, Dr. Chairman. I'm Rahman from Syiakuala Aceh. This is a big idea from Rahman. Thank you. I got any insight about Harmoni-Mesra. This is the big.
I cannot hear. What's good?
But anyway, I can do the translation.
This is a big idea or a big concept about Harmoni-Mesra. I want to know more how to implement in community, university community or academic community. Is it possible to achieve target? For example, a university has formulate some target and how to achieve the target. Is it possible a university propose a new course or a new subject to achieve this target, or how to implement in the real situation?
You mean for neighborhood communities or for university community? For university communities, as we say, first of all, there must already be a program within the university about harmony moments. Okay, so celebration masa Hari Raya, masa all the festivals, masa Merdeka, all that. But that should be now organized better to involve students as well as staff, and then if possible to bring the communities outside as well. So more of that harmony moments should be organized. Then on the top of that, rather than just coming together for a short term, just apa tu hilang gitu saja. They must develop program on specific topic. For example, I have some ideas about topic. Yeah. For example, both for staff and for students. How do we understand the main topic about our national constitution? For example, I was taken up by our constitutional expert, Salim Faruqi. He says Malaysia is a mosaic, not a melting pot. That is the essence of our constitution. Do we all understand that? Some people think that we have to be a melting pot. That's why a lot of problem. We are not. Because we allow our own language, our own culture, our own thing, but we are still part of a nation. So we are a mosaic and not a melting pot. Something simple like that, which is part of our constitution. Do we all understand that? I don't think we say so. Yeah. So then, what are our political heritage? How did we come together as a nation to get our independence without fighting? Other nations have to fight. Indonesia have to fight the Dutch to get their independence. We went it through negotiation. How? Because our people managed to come together and went with one voice to London to negotiate, because we were not fighting one another. There are things like that we do not understand. The young people lagi tak faham apa yang apa. So these are some of the things that can develop into program. Some of this program can be compulsory for all our students. Some may not be. And then there are differences in our values. Because we are a mosaic, we practice our own values. But to me, we even forget our budi pekerti, budi bahasa, budi bicara. So these are something that can be revived into something that, so you can have that as courses, you can have that as seminars, as discussion, and you can have a lot of activities. But it must involve not just students and staff, but try to bring the community as well. This is by and the RCE is probably doing that already. Yeah.
Exactly. Is that answering your question, Prof. Rahman? Prof. Rahman is from the University of Syahkuala in Indonesia, so they come here as part of our RCE program, and tomorrow we're gonna plan stuff together with them. Thank you, Prof. Rahman, for the question. Anyone else has any question? Okay, we have from elementary school here. Okay, can you?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Muhammad Afiq University from RCE, and I'm majoring in geography from School of Humanities. So my questions are related to sustain social harmony. So maybe Professor can give an advice or an advice or opinion about what the students like us can take a part, okay, in the way to achieve certain social harmony. Okay, so as we know, students, as the students, we are leader of sustainability, not just for in other group, okay, such as student in science or anything. So maybe the prof can give an advice to us to support government policy or anything. Thank you.
Social
When students have a strong spirit, and we have the lecturer here, and also the students, I'm sure it's actually the beginning of research for the School of Humanities, and I think to give you a very example, we did.
the question too, how to maintain.
Maybe can give an advice or opinion about the role that they play from students to support government policies or anything to achieve the certain harmony. Yeah, um, yeah, sustain harmony, Mr. Global. Yeah.
Yes, tak faham.
So basically, what he means is that being a student, how can he practice this Harmoni-Mesra concept of faith because he's a student
Okay.
in the university?
Well, let's go back to Rukun Negara. Hado kata all the time tu yang nombor 5 tu. Ethical behavior and morality. What is ethical behavior? Back to budi bahasa, budi bicara, budi pekerti. That is something that we have to practice. Yeah, you don't do anything, you don't talk about apa ni ya. Oh, not to create problem. And I said, why I say that harmony, social harmony we cannot take for granted in Malaysia, because ada selalu benda yang timbul. The good example was the sock. The Allah on a sock. All of a sudden that becomes such a big thing, because we say things without thinking how it affect other people. So budi bicara, budi pekerti, budi bahasa itu for Melayu, that is supposed to be our guiding principle. Even that we don't practice that. So we practice that, then it should transcend to all the other, not just among ourselves, but in a multiracial society, masyarakat majmuk di Malaysia, that is very, very important.
Thank you very much. Again, as you say, one of the principles of Negara is kesopanan dan kesusilaan. The last one, so that's actually very much in line with Harmoni-Mesra concept, respect to people. Do we have another question? Okay, from you introduce yourself first, if that's okay.
Very fine to Mr. everyone here. My name is Darani and I'm 19 from Penang Free School. First of all, I'd like to thank USM for inviting my school, Penang Free School, to this eye-opening talk, as we are all SPM students, and I think Rukun Negara is one thing that all of us practice in school as well. So my question to Professor is, as Professor was mentioning about the sustainability, and there are 17 goals and 169 targets. So all of this are supposed to be achieved by 2030. So what is the progress? Like how much of goals and how many targets has been achieved till 2024?
From the report you are hearing, we are long way from achieving the goals. The meetings, international meetings all the time, people there's a lot At the moment, there seems to be a lot more talk than action. And we are not, there is one target that everybody talking about. We shouldn't exceed 1.5 degrees centigrade. Yeah. What is the time limit? We are already exceeding that, some people say. So there's a lot more, there's a lot more to be done, and there not enough being done. Actually, I just said just now, there are action being done to reduce the carbon footprint. But what is happening in Gaza, what is happening in Ukraine, I think that nullifies all that is being done to support sustainability. And not to mention forest fires, volcanic eruption and all that kind of a thing. So there's a lot more that needs to be done to meet the target. And we haven't yet reached the tipping point, as far as I can understand. But we are exceeding even the level that has given itself to do. So everybody's effort is of course is required.
Do you have any more questions? Because I saw you. Okay. Okay, and can we open for anyone else? Anyone else has any question? Okay, so now I'm gonna go into my long list of questions that I have. Okay. I'm gonna pick off the list of my questions. But I found this one is very interesting because we talk a lot about Rukun Negara, and as you said, the Rukun Negara are often overlooked. And which part is overlooked, and how
Which part of
Rukun Negara, which is you think I mean, like, okay, we're talking about the sixth principle, like kesopanan dan kesusilaan. So how can Harmoni-Mesra actually help in realizing this objective, the kesopanan dan kesusilaan? Because what is the current problem? Because I thought, to be honest, like, see, Malaysians are quite polite, and I think we all admit that we're not racist. We are, we celebrate Hari Raya together. Like, during the Deepavali, which is coming soon, I normally get enough food, not only for one day, but probably for 1 month from my neighbor. So is that not enough?
No. I think that is not enough. That's why we are the way we are now. That's why I said you have to build on the. You need to think of more harmony moments, but you have to build upon that. The goodwill that is established on the harmony moment has got to be rationalized. So this is why the rational component is very important. And I think that rational component is not enough being done with young people. Yeah, there are program, what do you call it? There is something like that. There is universities have to take, which is given from the ministry, but that's not enough. We need to go more into understanding our social heritage, our political heritage, our understanding our different value system, respecting one another. There's so many more that we do not understand. And then because we do not understand, we fear. We fear what we do not know. And then when you fear, you act sometimes irresponsibly. So this is why the Code of Ethical Conduct says, refrain from action that offend, insult, humiliate, or intimidate others. Sometimes we do that without thinking. And then if you have a reaction You have an action, you have a reaction. This can happen. So at the moment, we are lucky that hasn't flared up. Only one example, May 13. But May 13, if you do not, May 13 can happen again if we do not try to address certain things which are now coming up now. Yeah, I think the good example was the SOC, the so-called SOC gate.
For people who are not from Malaysia, there was a case of the Kalimat Allah on the SOC, and then it becomes a very big issue in the country. So that's why stalking at the Kalimat Allah is something so people are not happy about that and make it very big. That's why council is talking about that. So something you recommend we have issues not only because we don't have the unity or harmony between each other, but the fundamental issue is we don't really know each other. We don't know the principle of, for example, religious or sensitivity of each other. And that's the reasons why we fear, because we don't know. And because we don't know, we make a lot of assumptions which might not be even true.
Not quite sure, I don't know.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Okay, anyone has any more questions? Okay, we have the lady from here.
I have one question. What strategy can individual and community implement to effective Harmoni-Mesra in diversified environment, especially like polarizing society? What strategy can individual and community implement to achieve Harmoni-Mesra in diversified environment, especially polarized society?
So basically what she said, as an individual in a diverse society like Malaysia, what can she do to achieve Harmoni-Mesra?
Where is she from?
Can we know you from?
I'm graduate school of business.
Are you from Malaysia or?
No.
Okay. Can we know where you're from?
From Pakistan.
She's from Pakistan, yeah, but she is a student here in Malaysia.
From?
She's from Pakistan.
Pakistan.
Yeah.
Okay, this issue that's a problem is in Malaysia, because we are multiracial, multi-ethnic, multi-religious. We are what we call masyarakat majmuk, and that is always potential for misunderstanding, potential for fear because we do not understand. But there are other countries which may not be multiracial, but they are divided by different ways. They are even multi-tribal, and the same problem can arise from that. So Harmoni-Mesra, but even in a homogeneous society, there can also be problem because of divisiveness or division by other means, division by political affiliation, division by religion affiliation, division by other things. I'm looking at America, USA at the moment. And they are not. There's no social harmony in America at the moment. Divided by political affiliation, which can be very aggressive at the moment, particularly close to the election. So there are something Harmoni-Mesra can be the basis of ensuring sustained harmony in many countries, as a matter of fact. And I'm sure in Pakistan, there are problems in Pakistan. I think most of the divisive part in Pakistan seem to be political, but there are tribal one as well. So I think the you need Harmoni-Mesra there to help keep social harmony intact.
Further to that question, can I ask if there is any examples in any country in which Harmoni-Mesra has been implemented that you maybe can learn from or
No,
close to it?
There are different ways people deal with this, yeah. But I'm not sure. You see, in most countries, normally the constitution is the one that tries, or that rather give the guideline to maintain national unity normally. And we happen to have two, the constitution itself as well as Rukun Negara, because Rukun Negara came out when we had May 13. So we are guided by two. The constitution is too difficult for people to understand. Rukun Negara is easier to understand, but we don't even appreciate the two parts of Rukun Negara. So this is why I keep saying we need to improve on the narrative of Rukun Negara, to strengthen the narrative of Rukun Negara, to make people understand more on the objective as well. But there are ways different countries deal with this, I think, and I'm not familiar, not knowledgeable about, yeah.
This question, can we ask for our last questions? If anyone, this is going to be the last question. Okay, we have a question from Yayasan.
Assalamualaikum. Thank you very much for your presentation earlier. It's always interesting to listen to it again after a few times. Terima kasih banyak, Azri. Cuma saya nak bertanya dari perspektif bahasa. Is can language be a unifying factor when it comes to promoting the idea of Harmoni-Mesra? Maybe we take into context the example of Japan and also maybe the example of USA, like you said just now, America, and try to apply it to Malaysia. How important is language as a unifying factor for the community, for society, as well as in promoting the idea of Harmoni-Mesra? Thank you.
How important is the
language? Because in Malaysia we have different languages, so how does language influence Harmoni-Mesra?
It must be. Communication is the means of bridging the gaps. If we have different differences in many ways, is the communication. So language is of course very, very important. And you see, we in this country we started with the mosaic concept, and therefore we promote, or rather we allowed for vernacular schools. But I have always said that it's very difficult to undo that now. But there must be ways of bridging the gap. You can still have your vernacular school, but there must be means of bridging that at a certain times. How do you do that? There are many, many ways of it, but we haven't we haven't really looked at it seriously to see at what stage in the school system where the bridge can be built, so that to reduce the risk. But we haven't done that. It looks as if that is untouchable. You cannot do it, but we need to look at that. And I'm sure there must be certain things you can do to bring people together. You can go back to your thing, but certain time you come back together, and that without sort of trying to diminish, anybody's interest.
So much, Shantri. According to our time, that should be the last questions, unless if anybody insists. Or, all right, whoever.
Sorry. I'm so sorry to take up more time of yours, Ansri, but I think I really wanted to ask this. I personally, I am a very proud Malaysian, I would say, but a lot of people around me, they might not be proud of Malaysia as much as what I have witnessed before. So one day, if let's say, Ansri, Malaysia is succeed in Harmoni-Mesra, what is the indicator that shows we Malaysians have finally succeeded in this? Any benchmark that you foresee, oh, this country has finally achieved it? Thank you, Nancy.
Well, I haven't come to the stage of working out the evaluation process. I talk about ACCA, right? Actually, the ACCA has got a small plus at the end of that, ACCA plus E. But for Harmoni-Mesra, it's still ACCA. We have got to action now, because first of all, being aware there is a problem, understanding what are the issues, and then commitment to action. So I have got to go to the A, the small plus E evaluation. I haven't got to it, right? So good to be reminded. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Abdul, for the very, very good question. I guess it's true, and this is the best part. And we have perhaps one question too. That's what we can consider from Minister President, that's okay?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you so much, Shantri, and I'm going to wrap it up a bit. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the close of today's insightful talk, I want to sincerely thank academician Professor Emeritus Tan Sri Dr. Omar Abdul Rahman for sharing his wisdom and deep reflections on the Harmoni-Mesra initiative. His passions and commitment to building a harmonious, prosperous, progressive and sustainable Malaysia remind us that unity is not just a fleeting moment, it is a continuous, deliberative effort. The concept of Harmoni-Mesra offers a powerful framework for addressing the challenges we face, from diverse rhetoric to cultural intolerance. It encourages us to look beyond celebrations and fleeting harmony moments to foster long-term relationships built on empathy, understanding, and mutual respect. On behalf of everyone here, extend my gratitude again to Tan Sri for his time and wisdom, and to all of you also for your attention and participation. Together, let's make unity not just a slogan, but the essence of who we are as Malaysians. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jafari, for the excellent summary. I would like to respectfully ask Tan Sri Omar and Dr. Jafari to remain on stage. As currently, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at the key moment of today's ceremony, where a gift of appreciation will now be presented to our highly respected guest, YBhg Tan Sri Omar. So before we proceed, I would like to now respectfully invite Professor Azlan Amran, the Vice Chancellor, Industry and Community Network, representing the Vice Chancellor of YSN, along accompanied by Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Wira Muhammad Shafi, the Director of the Center for CGSS, who joined us on stage. Such a great time that we have spent together with a remarkable sharing that has been given. And now, with the deepest respect and appreciation, I invite Professor Rahman to present a gift of appreciation to Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Omar for his very, very remarkable speech today. Let us give all of them a round of big applause.
Okay, sini satu.
Thank you very much.
Satu lagi. Okay.
Indeed, this is such a great honor for all of us to witness this. And here we will also be witnessing an exchange of gifts where delightfully Tan Sri Omar would like to also present a gift. A round of applause. Thank you.
Ini satu.
An honor to have Tan Sri among us this
Ini satu.
morning.
Tan Sri. Tan Sri satu. Okay.
A very special gift from Tan Sri Omar to our host today.
Satu lagi. Okay.
Thank you.
And then next, we also have a special presentation where Dr. Wira, the Director of CGSS, will now present a gift of appreciation to Professor Dr. Azlan Amran for officiating our event today. Please join me in giving all of them a round of applause again as we receive the awards that we present. To our speaker and all English guests, on behalf of University Science Malaysia, we would like to say thank you once again for giving us the wisdom this morning.
Thank you.
We are really grateful and appreciate for your contribution. So, ladies and gentlemen, now it is time for a group photography. We would like to ask all of you to be prepared. So, we would like to now ask the speaker and all our guests to come to the center of the hall for our group photography. And for the rest of us, we can slowly stand and position ourselves to be behind our speaker. And I invite all of us to position ourselves behind our guests for this photography session. Please take your time. And make sure to position yourself within the frame.